are gonna go ahead and get started. So to everyone just tuning in, I am your host, Caitlin Leggett. I am here with another Changing Channels from NPR's WNC Radio. Shout out to Youth Voices for creating and making all of this happen. Today we are going to be talking to the Lil Murda, okay? If you're not tuned in, you need to be watching P Valley. That's my show right now. So we're gonna go ahead and tune into our guest. Give him some time to come on. Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for joining us.
No problem. Thank you for having me. And give me your name once more so I can pronounce it correctly.
Caitlin Leggett.
Caitlin Leggett. Pleasure being here with you, Caitlin. I appreciate you reaching out to the team, making this happen. Shout out to North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're going to start off right there because I know you're probably busy. So let's get straight into it.
Okay.
You are from North Carolina, Greensboro, Big 336?
Yes, 336, Big 336. Shout out to Greensboro, North Carolina.
Okay, so talk to me a little bit about your upbringing here in North Carolina.
Greensboro, North Carolina. Shout out to anybody that's on this live that's from Greensboro. It's just a beautiful place, especially when I was growing up there in the 90s. Greensboro just felt black. It felt like culture. Felt like A&T homecomings. It felt like Dudley High School, which is where I went to high school, you know. And so shout out to all the other high schools, but y'all know Greensboro is known for Dudley High School, though. So, you know, it was just an amazing experience, full of culture, full of black history. And then at the same time, just, you know, really, I think, solid foundation that North Carolina gave me from grade school all the way up to North Carolina Central University. I just had some amazing people around me, amazing professors. Some of, you know, obviously my best friends that are still in my circle to this day were formed in North Carolina. So who I am at the core, I think, is that Southern gentleman that North Carolina kind of raised me to be, and also just to, you know, always appreciate who I am as a black man, and just that being a black man from Greensboro, that's what that was for me.
Period. And if you're from North Carolina, you know that's just a different type of upbringing. I'm from Durham, North Carolina myself, big 919.
Okay.
But even being from Greensboro, there's just so much history there. So I know that was really amazing. And then you brought how you went to Central.
Yeah.
Aggie Pride, Eagle Pride for all of
right.
the area.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit what it was like with you being there and acting. Where was that cultivated at?
So I was actually just on another live talking about this. I didn't realize that it was cultivated, you know, at an early age until I got a little older, and I saw. Am I back?
Yeah.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
You can see me?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't see myself no more, but it's all good. But yeah, I was you know, my mom wrote church plays growing up. And I didn't realize that, you know, that's what I was into at the time. I was just like, oh, I like, you know, this is fun. My mom's writing some plays. Let me have a good time with it. But she cultivated that at an early age. I would say from like the time I was 7 to about 15, I participated in that musically as well. I was a drummer at church. And then, yeah, I fast forward to 2008 when I got to Central. I fell in love with storytelling via a teacher named Karen Deacons-Brock, my professor at the time. She said, hey, you should try audition for this play. And I auditioned for the play. She gave me the lead role. And at that time, I was super nervous about playing that role, but I knew I had the ability to do it. I had confidence in myself. And it started to really cultivate from there. I said, okay, you know what? This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. So from 2008 to now, you know, that's what I've been doing.
And looking at your other live that I was tuned into, I saw you brought up a little bit about how you did some work on Broadway.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of regional theater prior to that, a lot of, you know, a couple off-Broadway shows prior to that. And then finally I got my big opportunity to be on Broadway, which was a Soldier's play. And we garnered the Tony Award for Best Revival back in 2020. So able to add that to the resume, which was really cool. But yeah, working your way up to those Broadway stages is not an easy thing. So shout out to anybody who's been able to grace those boards.
And shout out to everybody along the way who helped you get here, because that is an amazing feat.
Right.
So let's get into your character on P Valley. So for those of you who are not tuned into P Valley, y'all need to be watching. That is my show. I'm going to keep rewatching because that's really my show.
Yeah.
So your character as Lil Murda. For those of you who don't know, Lil Murda is a very dynamic character who he goes to rags from riches by way of his rap music, but along the way, like his struggles reveal his struggles regard revealing his true self to the world, all the while facing the pressures of being a Black man in a setting that is not always accepting of vulnerability, right?
Right.
So talk to me a little bit about the importance of Lil Murda and his character.
Man, I think you hit it on the nose as far as like the description of who he is. I think, you know, his character means so much to so many people at this point. When he was first introduced to me, I said, man, I know this brother and I just want to take care of him. I want to make sure he's good, make sure that the world sees him in the best light possible. And even when they do see him in a dark light, that it still shines. You can see that shine come from him. And so, you know, he means a lot to a lot of people at this point. And I think what he means to the world of P Valley, it's something, you know, that small world of Chuckalisa is a lot too, right? It's like, man, you got this between Uncle Clifford's character all the way down to the smallest characters. Each one of those characters means something to the dynamic of this story. So I'm just blessed for the art that I've been able to play. Shout out to Katori Hall for, you know, I want to say using her imagination, but also just kind of pulling from real life and placing it onto the page and allowing people to see themselves that haven't seen themselves in a long time. You know, it's crazy that people look in the mirror every day, damn near. Most everybody got a mirror in their house and you brush your teeth, whatever the case you may be, but you don't truly see yourself until something is presented to you in a different way. So we have these faux mirrors. We have these mirrors that aren't actual mirrors that we're able to put up to people and they're like, wow, that's me. I don't have to be scared. I don't have to hide. I love that in episode 10 of season 2, we see Uncle Clifford and Lil Murda come out, essentially. You see Lil come out. And so it meant the world to me for him to have this arc, and for my brothers and sisters and everyone in between in the LGBTQ spectrum who don't feel like they're being seen, who are afraid that their life is going to be in danger, that they are being seen. But I know how hard it is. I may not know through a personal walk of a daily life, but this show and Lil Murda has given me a small slice of what people go through on a daily basis who can't be themselves. And so I know he means a lot to a lot of people. He definitely means a lot to me. And I'm super grateful that he's, you know, making the impact that he has.
It's such a heavy role. And when I say you are playing it, I mean all the Tonys, the Emmys, the everything, all the awards. Because the complexity of that character, the way you're able to embody that is amazing.
Thank you.
So the show touches on a lot of different topics. We get a lot of different themes, a lot of different important themes. But one thing that I think some people kind of look past is the fact that in the show, right, Lil Murda is kind of seen as a street dude. He gang bangs and all of this, but in certain areas, especially in areas in North Carolina, we see a lot of unconventional families and family structures being built by way of Lil Murda finding family through Uncle Clifford, Uncle Clifford's grandmother, his gang. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Great question, and obviously great observation about saying like the unconventional families. I had to learn a lot about the families that the LGBTQ plus community create. You know, like I didn't know about like the house mothers and I don't even want to get into it too much. I'm still very new to like the actual terminology for the wording for it. But you know, our family, our people who get outcast, you know, have to form these other families, you know, for themselves. And so I think it's important that we see that in P Valley. Katori has showed that obviously within the Pink, with the character like Nineveh and how she's come in and made herself part of the Pink family, and how Uncle Clifford, you know, how she takes care of her. But yes, it's important that those stories are told too, and those families are seen. And Lil Murda, I think he's still figuring that out for himself. You know, he's still figuring out what families he's a part of, this gang that he's a part of, are those his brothers? And I think they are. Gang
Mm-hmm.
life is a very interesting thing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people join gangs not to commit violence, but to have a family, to have
Right.
brothers and sisters that they can lean on. Most gangs that have been created, that was the purpose of them. And early on, when gangs were created, they were created to help and better the community. It's like, this is your family, this is who you can lean on, and how can we go out and serve a purpose? And I think later,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, violence has always been around. Violence is, I don't think it's going to go anywhere, but we can have our impact on it. We can help it by having different stories and accepting these families that we see created, right? These unconventional families.
Mm-hmm.
How do you accept the people that you have a disagreement with, or people that you don't see eye to eye with? So it's important that Victoria is showing that, and how she's built that is really dope. Like I said, we're bringing these different characters together, and for the characters like Lil Murda, who's still trying to figure it out. What is my family? Who am I? What do I mean to this gang? And what is street justice? Right? We seen Lil Murda catch a body this year,
Mm-hmm.
this season. And so it's like, yeah, who's your family? Who's not your family? Who do you have to watch out for? It's important.
And it is, especially, again, I keep bringing it back to this area, but being around this area, we rep area codes like our life depends on it.
For
I'm
sure.
919 till I die, big 336-252, all of that. But for us, essentially, it's community. It's the fact that these are the people that I came up with that are from my area, that understand the type of life that I live, adjacent to the things that go on around me. So
Right.
community is huge.
Yeah.
But again, the show, when I say like it's layers on layers on layers, y'all, I mean, you gonna go through a roller coaster of emotions on this show.
For sure.
So we see tons of representation about how death can be a road to open new life on the show, even down to the tattoo on Lil Murda's, like under his eye, we see the R. So I can't help but see the symbolism in this. What is your interpretation of how your character rebirths himself, all the way throughout season 2, beginning at season 1?
Come on, Caitlin, with these dope questions, man. These
Shout out to
thought-provoking
Kamaya.
questions, man. I'm like, she ain't asking the normal little the questions these people be asking.
Listen. Shout
You're a
out to
great,
my producer, Kamaya. She put me
yeah.
on with it too. Yeah.
Come on now, you're a great journalist, by the way. But I was new to the term like death doula this year. You saw Katori kind of talk about that a little bit, and how Lil Murda was used as this kind of guide to lead people to the afterlife. And it's interesting that you talk about how Lil Murda has kind of died and been rebirthed. A few times we've seen him kind of like shape shift a little bit. I've had people tell me that, it's like, bro, you like playing 3 different people this season. Like, Lil Murda is crazy, bro. Like, he's going through all these different ups and downs. And I think that's what happens to us in real life too, right? Every couple years, whatever, every couple weeks, you go through something that changes your perspective, that changes you slightly. I think growth as a human being is imperative. Like, if you find yourself stop growing, it's like, okay, like, it's dangerous, man. And it's dangerous because you can get stagnant, find yourself in the same place, and then you can potentially not be who you were meant to be, not fully grow to your full potential. So I think it's always nice to look in the mirror, take off that extra layer, and it's like an onion. I've said this before. You start peeling back the layers, and it's a beautiful process, and then it can make you cry. An onion is like most onions, other than yellow, but like a white onion is like this pure thing that you start to peel it back, and it's like, wow, there's all these little circles and all this different stuff going on up in here. I'm like, damn, I'm crying. Like, this shit is strong. Like, but that's an analogy that I apply to life, and that I apply to this character, is that, man, there's so many layers to him. And how can I give this to my audience? How can I give these to these good folks who watching this show, to my gangsters, to my street people, to my LGBT community, to my people who feel like this is too much? It's like, well, how can I get you to understand that no, motherfucker, is not. Excuse my French. But no, it's not. These people are making love. They do the same thing you do in your bedroom. Literally. Because some of y'all, even like, it's literally, it's like these people are doing the same, living the same lives that you're living. They're not bringing no harm to you. They're not causing, the people in the LGBT, our family, I like to call them family. I don't like saying these people are our family within the LGBTQ community are living their lives the same way we are. And sometimes they have more fun than you because they have a freedom about themselves that allows them to live. And so I think Lil Murda is trying to find what is his freedom? Where does he feel most free and not caged in and not like I'm just all these layers are unpacked on top of me and I haven't peeled them down. And so I think that's kind of like who he is and how we have to peel back, like, you know, the reborn and dying and coming back again. And then it's interesting that you mentioned the ankh underneath his face. I think he believes in that peace. I think he believes in that protection that comes with that. I think he understands he only wants peace around him.
Right.
I think he finds peace in the music, you know, and so it's a lot of layers to him, but I think he's no different than that's why I call him the everyman, because he's no different. He loves someone just like you love someone. He has an enemy just like you have an enemy. He likes to have a good time just like you have a good time. So why do you disvalue him, or the fact that people, you know, kind of throw all this shade onto our good people in the LGBT community? It just baffles me at this point, you know, especially after playing Lil Murda and understanding how complex the mental space can be for those who are, you know, trapped in that space.
Right. I love that, because speaking of him finding his peace, when you see him on stage, when you see him with Uncle Clifford, when you see him with his gang, it's all these representations of Black boy joy. Him finding his peace, him being in his era, in his aura, wherever he needs to be in that time.
Right.
And with being a Black man and the character that he is playing, or that you are playing for him, that dynamic character, there's no blueprint. There's no, look at this person and this is how you do it. Look at this person and this is how you do it. There's no actual, this is how it's done. So tell me, where do you pull from?
Yeah, come on, Caitlin. It was, so you're right. There is no blueprint for a character like Lil Murda. I'm obviously inspired by so many actors and the depth that actors can go. Obviously, Denzel Washington is a huge inspiration. You know, Viola Davis, Octavia Spencer, Matthew McConaughey, Meryl Streep. You know, these are actors who I watch, and I just kind of see the depth that they have. So when it comes to like the technical part of it, and it comes to storytelling and breathing, believing, I pull from the great artists that I've worked with and the great directors I've worked with. But Lil Murda as an actual character, yeah, I had to rely on, like, who do I know that's a Lil Murda? I had to think about it, like, oh damn, my cousin, one of my cousins I grew up with, some of the homies I grew up in school. You know, you can look them in. Excuse that airplane. I'm sitting outside. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
But you can, you know, you can feel that in. We all know an Uncle Clifford. We all know a Lil Murda. So if you kind of think, even if you didn't spend a whole bunch of time around these individuals, you can think back to a time. It's like, oh damn, I heard that story about my bro, but then he was out in public having to kind of hide and be different. But then I saw these pictures. My man showed me this picture where he was hugged up with. So I've had those real experiences, you know, where you discover that, oh man, this brother can't be himself. Right. You know, so I've had experiences, real life experiences with people like Lil Murda, but you don't know the details of it because guess what? These people are closeted. These people have to put on a mask. And so I can only go off of things that I knew were real, like love is real, anger is real. All those things are playable, as I've said before, but what's the inner monologue behind it? As an artist, I think it's imperative that you have an inner monologue. And so we all have that. Like right now, Caitlin, you thinking about something. Like you thinking something. You ain't said it, but you thinking it and it show up on your face a little bit, whether it's like, damn, I'm really feeling what he's saying right now. Or damn, what the hell Jay Fon's talking about right now? Whatever it may be, it's an inner monologue. And I like to call that the velocity muscle. It's so fast. You and I have never had this conversation before, but look how it's playing though. And so as an artist, as an actor, Lil Murda had to have that. He had to constantly be thinking, and I wanted that to show. And so just like we do in real life, we're constantly thinking. And so, you know, I just had to pull from, obviously, like I said, people who I know in real life, who I feel like or have gone through this experience on a daily. I've thought about my friends who have been incarcerated and in prison, and like, damn, bro, you did 10 years, you did 7 years, and then you come out. How do they get back into the world? What if they found a new love in there? with that the love that they had to create in there was something that's always chastised and a stigma thrown on it out here, but they like that love now. So when they come back into the real world, they don't know how to adjust. So they got their girlfriend right here, but then they got their boyfriend on this side. So I can only imagine what that may be like, but I know it's probably hard. I know it might get easy sometimes. I know some people may get so good at it that you can't tell. So I had to kind of sit with my thoughts, what it is that he would do, and then also sit with just a little bit of time that I've had with people that I feel like are, like I said, a Lil Murda of the world or the Uncle Clippers of the world.
And life is really one of our best teachers. We pull from experience. I know usually if I talk to singers, if I talk to poets, I'm a poet myself. Everything that I do, everything that I write, everything that I know other people write, it's experience. It's the things that we go through, that our adjacent friends go through, that our friend of a friend go through, situations that we hear about, and that's really our best teacher. Getting back into the show, one of the things that the show focuses on is non-traditional wealth building, with the Pink being Uncle Clifford's legacy, right? Some people see the Pink as a strip club, as we see Haley ready to sell it.
And you said non-traditional what? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Wealth building. Non-traditional wealth building.
All right.
So for Uncle Clifford, that was legacy, right? So, but for other people, they sacrificed it because they didn't see its value. Talk to me a little bit about unconventional wealth building.
Dang, Caitlin, you hit me with like a new little term I ain't even never. I never even heard of unconventional wealth building, but that's dope because you open it. But I know what it is just by context clues. I know what those two words mean. So that's dope. I think I've been able to do that to a certain extent. Like I was a street drummer majority of my adulthood. So that's unconventional. People are like, how are you making money by being a street drummer? Well, I was able to do it by, like you said, believing in something, loving something so much to where I knew it was going to take care of me if I took care of it. And I think that's how Uncle Clifford, that's how she sees the paint, as we like to say. If I take care of the paint, it's going to take care of me. And that may be an unconventional way for some people because they feel like, oh, the paint is in shambles and it's falling down and y'all getting all hit with all these fines and you can barely keep violence out of it, whatever the case it may be. She understands that if she can keep it nice, if she can keep it tight, if she can stay consistent. That was something that I did with street drumming, staying consistent. If I can make $100 a day, I can feed myself, and I can make enough money to get on this China bus to go down here and see my son in Greensboro. You know
and
what I'm
that's
saying?
all you need.
Unconventional, it may be challenging, and it may come with the challenges that you may not expect, but it can be very rewarding. Staying dedicated to something, having sentimental value over things. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of sentimental value over my my buckets. Like those are my babies. I ain't just go throw them up in the room. I'm not about to just, no, they're my babies, and I still got them to this day. I got my pots and pans to this day. Having sentimental value is important, and cherishing what it is that you've built, and knowing that now you done built something. It's like a raft. It's gonna carry you where you gotta go, and you may not make the most money off of it all the time. You may not, see the $1 million may not be as close as you want it to be. I thought I was gonna be a millionaire by the time I was like 22. I was like, shit, I got talent, motherfucker. I'm about to really be able to do something, but it doesn't work like that. You have to remain consistent and trust that your unconventional wealth building is gonna pay off for you. You know what I'm saying? Now you done added something to my vocabulary that I could throw up in there, but it's just like, yeah, we do that. Katori, I didn't even notice that. That's dope that you speaking about that because she does that on P Valley. And I think even being a dancer, as common as it is, that's kind of an untraditional wealth building thing that a lot of people don't understand that, dancers can end up making a lot of money over a certain span of time. And now that for me, I have a whole different respect for sex workers and these women who are dancing on these poles, everything like that. It's like when you respect the craft and you know the etiquette of tipping, which is really dope. You help these people build their wealth. You help when you see a street performer, if there's an etiquette to go in and tip them, especially if they're good. You know what I'm saying? Now I get some people just be out there doing it. It's like, man, this ain't entertaining me. Like, why would I? So when you're really good at something and you can stay dedicated, I think unconventional wealth building can pay off. And it can be, I just want people to know that it's hard though, as we see with Clifford. It's been hard for her.
Right. So if y'all are just tuning in, listen, we having a word right now.
We've been over here chopping it up. Come on, Caitlin, you killing it.
Thank you. So again, if you're just tuning in, I'm your host, Caitlin Leggett, and we are here with another Changing Channels from for NPR's WNC Radio. Also, shout out to WNC Youth Voices. Shout out to Kamaya, who was helping me produce, brainstorm all these questions, and we got to talking about unconventional wealth building, right? In the sense that, especially with today's young people, right? They are finding ways to create their legacy, to make their money just any kind of way that they can think of, whatever serves them, whatever they love. And right. I love that. That's a new way.
Me too. I love it.
So show your boy J Fon some love, okay? If y'all on there, make sure y'all tuning in. And we're gonna get back into it. Just wanted to give you a break. But the show touches on some really heavy topics, as we've seen, right? Mm-hmm. From abortion to non-traditional wealth building to family, mental health, hypersexualization, everything. A lot of these are very heavy topics. And for you to be playing this character, how does this role affect you personally? Because that's a heavy load to bear.
It's a heavy load, Caitlin. I'm not gonna hold you, you know. And I think nothing can prepare you. I said this. I saw it in an article title that somebody used earlier this week, and that I said nothing can prepare you to go viral to be trending #1 on Twitter every week. Mm-hmm. Like nothing prepares you for that. Mm-hmm. Nothing prepares you for playing a character like this and having all these like hateful things spewed at you, but also the overwhelming amount of love that you get, right? Mm-hmm. Like, forget the hate, man. Fuck the hate. The love that comes with it is crazy. Like, I was out there at Central today, the other day, North Carolina Central University. Shout out to my university. And the love that they show me. I'm talking when I walk in, it's almost like 1,000 people in there. They screaming, they yelling, they got their phones up. They want to come up and take pictures with you. You can only imagine. It's like, man, like, you know, it's crazy. And I never was in this to like be famous or for the celebrity of it all. I always done it because I want people to be touched by storytelling because it changed my life. So I want to change other people's lives with it. But the love is crazy. You can't really prepare for that, you know? And so I find myself in this predicament where it's just like, man, just enjoy the ride. You know, whatever comes with it, and learn and grow and breathe and believe, as one of the homies taught me back in the day, you know, just kind of go through it. But yeah, you have your days where it's just like, yo, all right, let me unplug from the phone, get out here on my porch. Everybody know I got this egg chair. I'm not sitting in it today because I ain't want to be swinging too much, but I got this little swinging chair on my porch. It's my favorite place to sit and kind of just unwind. I come out here, I sit on my porch, and that helps me kind of take off the load that comes with playing Lil Murda. And it, you know, as far as like dealing with it, like how do I mentally handle it, you just breathe through it. And I could respond to everybody on Twitter or respond to everybody on Instagram, but it's like nobody got the time to do that. I don't personally have the time or the energy to entertain everyone's opinion. But what I can do is continue to kind of just pull the lens back, continue to pull the curtain back on these stories that I'm telling, and be very happy that God gave me the energy and gave me the build to carry the load. You know, I can sit back sometimes and look up at the sky and be like, damn, appreciate you, homie. Like, whoever you are, like, big universe, big ancestors, like, thank you for giving me the strength to be able to push through this, because you see so many people, oh, it couldn't be me, boom, 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 boom. Sometimes seeing that shit, it make me feel like, oh, damn, I'm glad it is me. You know, I'm glad God did choose me. I'm glad the universe did say, hey, you strong enough to carry this load, and watch what you know is reciprocated with that. Mad love, and also, you know, I'm pretty good. I'm taken care of. I'm not worried about too much. You know, family's good. And so you sit back and think about that sometimes too. It's like, yeah, I'm making a living off of something I love to do. How I can't trip off of this. You know, life is good. And so anything that somebody has to say about it, you have to let it roll off. But I would be lying if I said I don't see it and you don't feel it, because you see the love and you see the hate, and you're going to indulge in both, and sometimes you just got to choose to indulge in one more than the other. Yeah,
I definitely think sometimes when we see people come up and become celebrities, I think people forget that these are people. This is your next door neighbor. This is your homie from the block. This is your mama, your brother, your sister.
right.
And because you behind the screen, like you can't forget that. Like we've been so desensitized to certain things, but these are just regular people who bear the same loads that we bear.
That's it.
Thinking about your character, right, as Lil Murda, but then Big J Fonz himself, how much of this character is really you?
It's interesting that you say that. Somebody asked my wife, shout out to my pretty baby Nafisha, somebody asked her what's similar between Lil Murda and J. Alphonse. And my baby had this dope little paragraph where she was like, passionate. He's a great lover. He loves to cook. Niggas musically inclined. I got that part about me too where it's like, nah, don't play with me. Cause that part of that's who I am.
That North Carolina in you.
Huh?
That North Carolina in you.
Yeah, that CAC, that NC, that Greensboro, that 336. Shout out to the East Side, Boo Ed, that way. They know who I'm talking about. But it's just it's similarities there. And then obviously there are some huge things that are not similar. But I find myself when I watch Lil Murda, I'm like, damn, that motherfucker just as passionate as I am, man. And it's like, boy, he want his shit, man. You know what I'm saying? And then he loved providing and taking care of the people that's around him, and that's me. I love taking care of my wife. I love taking care of my kids. I gotta make sure my people's straight. Me and my homies, we're like that. Like, shout out to my good homie Denzel. Was talking about that. I was talking about that this weekend. When I go back to North Carolina, I got a crib to stay at. I got a whip to drive. You know what I'm saying? Anytime I'm there, and it's because of my good friends and my loved ones. And so I think that's what I have similar to Lil Murda. He's loyal. He's loyal to his people. He's gonna ride for his homies. And at the end of the day, man, he just want to have a good time. He want to love on his loved ones. And so it's a lot of things that we have similar. And the more I look at him, the more I realize, like, okay, I put a lot of a little pieces of myself into building this guy. But we talk totally different. My mouth sits different when I'm like Lil Murda. Y'all know Lil Murda. He really sit that shit flat. He really sit. He got his grills in there. So I sit more in my southern self when I play Lil Murda, but I take it a little further. And I amp up that don't fuck with me type of vibe too.
So throughout that whole thing, I heard how important your support system, your family is to you. Talk to me a little bit about them. What is that like? And you, right now, you're in LA?
Yeah, I'm in LA right now. You can see me? Okay, somebody was trying to call me. I had to lift it up. But yeah, I'm in LA.
Good. So you might be a little far from some family here, wherever else your family may be from. Talk to me a little bit about your support system, your immediate family, your wife, your kids.
Oh man, support system is crazy. Like from my wife and my children to my mom, my sister, my two closest homies that I consider like my brothers, and then like I have half siblings too, so I don't consider them half siblings, but my real blood brother, my other two sisters, even when we don't talk that much, their love is always felt. But yeah, my immediate family, like my wife, man, ultimate supporter, number one, best friend. That's my dog. We ride. We talk about any and everything, and she's just like my. I don't know, man. She's just my everything, and so then you got like I said, the homies, but then also my team, my business team, are very supportive of what it is that has transpired over the past 2 years, and how we obviously can elevate for that. But are you okay? Are you good? Right. What can we do to make this easier for you? So shout out to my agent, my manager, my lawyer, and then I have like this other side of my team. Shout out to my boy Brandon McKay Hearn, Broccoli City. If y'all ain't never been to Broccoli City, go to Broccoli City. That's my brother. Go experience what he's cultivated for the culture. It's crazy. But another huge supporter in my corner. So yeah, support is everything. And even to my cast too. Much love to my castmates, man, for always being huge support, checking in. Specifically my guy Bertram Williams, man, who plays Wody. He and I have been able to have build a dope relationship on the show. Obviously, like that's my dog, but then that's my dog outside the show too. Like that's my dog, bro. And because he's a genuine guy, just like Wody, he's like that. And so having that support has been everything for me. And I think everybody needs that. Have friends, man. Have people that's gonna really check you. Be like, hold up, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't get ahead of yourself. Have people that's gonna keep you humble. Have people that's gonna love on you, check on you, tell you that they love you. Like, that literally saying, I love you, I'll talk to you later, whatever. It's okay, homie. For all my, and I ain't gonna say guys, because there's some women out here like that too. Everybody in between who feel like you can't say I love you. Tell people you love them, man. Tell people you love them every day. Every day, make sure you tell somebody you love them, yo. Just so you can hear it back, too. You know what I'm saying? Just so you can hear it back, so you can hear somebody say, hey, I love you, too. Because that's important. I tell my wife that all the time. Like, I say I love you all the time, but she makes sure she hit me with one, too. You know? So I say I love you, too.
That's so important.
Yeah,
that
for
right
sure.
there, if y'all don't leave with nothing else, please tell y'all people you love them, because the support system, people underestimate how important that really is. When I say shout out to my mentors, my best friends, my team, all of them, everybody, like, they are the reason that everything is possible. And you don't realize how quickly all of that can be taken from you. You don't realize, you never know when your last day is. So when I tell you, like, my best friends and I, like, we will call each other back just to say I love you.
Oh, fact.
Because you never know. And I don't want you to ever forget that.
Right. Never.
Absolutely. Again, love on y'all peoples what they hear. And show they want some love.
Hey, I appreciate you, Caitlin. I really do. I appreciate you. I wish I could I gotta go in a little bit, because Hennessy, shout out to Hennessy, they throwing me this little private dinner tonight, which I'm super honored. And so I gotta go get ready for that in a little bit. But I'm not trying to cut you off. I know we got some more. I want you to ask me like one or two more questions. And I gotta say this before I go. You are extremely talented, my friend. Like, I've done a lot of interviews, and a lot of them either want like clickbait information, or some of them just like, they just want the surface questions. You really thought about these questions, you and your team, whoever it is. And so from black man to black woman, but homie to homie, like, yo, solid. Like, you need to continue. This is something you have a huge career in, and I can see you on the CNNs or the ESPNs of the world, or whatever the case may be, having your own joint. So I just want to manifest that, say all that, and I can't wait to see you one day. Be like, damn, Kate, remember we did the live together? Now look at you, big studio, doing your own shit, all that. So yeah.
Listen, we're gonna be on the red carpet together, okay?
Facts.
You're gonna be at the award show, and I'm gonna be interviewing.
This is what we gonna do. Matter of fact, we gotta figure out how to get you on the carpet for P Valley next season. Like, if we got a red carpet for P Valley, you just keep me posted. Like, remind me. Like, when it come time, like, fine. You said you was gonna get me on the carpet, the red carpet of P Valley. Watch. I'm gonna connect you with the PR people. We gonna do that.
I got you. We gonna talk after this.
Fact. Yeah.
Again, I don't want to hold up too much of your time. So last question or two.
Okay.
So within this role, right, you played, like, there's been so much range, and you played in BT's Tales, you played in the Madam CJ Walker store. You've shown a lot of range for yourself in this amount of time, right? So what are some roles or names that you would like to work with in the future?
Oh, man, so many talented people out here. Shout out to the people I have. I feel like I've been able to work with some really great people, like the Jamie Foxxes of the world. And like I said, I tell you, Spencer Blair Underwood, man, that's my guy. I learned so much working with him. Michael B. Jordan, shout out to him. He's more of like a peer, but it's dope when you work with peers who have been able to go a very high level, And so being around him, he's so poised. So I love to work with him again. Just met Daniel Kaluuya a couple weeks ago. Solid, bruv. As he says, just really solid, brother. I got a homie named Miriam Hyman that plays Dre on The Shy. We've only worked together one time, but she's one of my closest friends in the industry, as well as outside of that. I want to work with Miriam again. I want to work with Sharia Irvin. My homie who's from 919.
Hey, Big Bull City.
Yeah, my homie Lauren, and she's on Showtime. The City on the Hill on Showtime, and so yeah, so there's a lot of dope people, and those may be people you've heard of or not heard of, but it's a lot of dope actors. I think when you come to the bigger names, yeah, who don't want to work with Denzel, man? I definitely would love to work with Denzel one day. Shout out to Will Smith, Meryl Streep, man, Viola Davis, and I'm not saying those names in like no particular order. Don't y'all get that caught up? But I just want to work with great storytellers. Mahershala Ali is someone who I'm inspired by. So yeah, all those names, you just kind of put them in a bag. If you shook it up and pulled one out, I'd be grateful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last question.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you're gonna keep working and doing your great things. So I'm not even gonna ask you about that because I know we're gonna see you when we see you, and it better be next season on P Valley.
Right.
I know that much. But for all of my aspiring media actors, actresses, you know, everybody from the city, from internationally around the world, what is some advice that you want to leave them with, you know, in this business?
What I would say first would be make sure the business part is situated before you start getting into these bigger roles, bigger invest. I would say do it early. Now, it probably makes sense to do it early. Even my people who are on stage as well. Please turn yourself into an entity, whether that's an LLC or an S corp or even a C corp. Please make sure that you're an entity. That way you can structure how you pay these taxes and ain't nobody just getting over on you and all your money's getting taken. You can really figure out how you want to structure your bread. And you are an entity. You are a walking business. Your name, who you are as a person, is a walking business, especially in the entertainment industry. And then secondly, I would say, on top of the business part, you got to own the craft. You got to know how to get better. And that can't just be investing in a whole bunch of acting classes, because those people who teach those acting classes, to be honest, they have to pay their rent too, and that's their way of giving back, but that's also their way of making a living. But I feel like don't go out here and spend your last, and you don't have it to, to do. You have Netflix for whatever you're paying it for. Watch your favorite artist, watch your favorite actor, watch them and watch how they breathe and believe on that screen. And that's the last thing I would say is always breathe. Always breathe. Right now we doing it, we're not thinking about it. But as soon as you get behind that, as soon as you get in front of that camera, or as soon as you get on that stage, for some reason, you holding your breath. You're not breathing fully. You're not filling your stomach up with the air that it needs to be filled. Your lungs up, rather. Your whole body, really, with the air that needs to be filled up with. So fill your body up with air, the oxygen that God has given us, and make sure it comes out, with those words. Make sure it's pure. So, yeah, just breathe and believe. Shout out to my homie. I say that all the time. And then, yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
Listen, if y'all missed this interview, y'all better go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Because when I say it's been gems on gems on gems, I want to thank you so much for tuning in with us. I know you have a busy schedule, but if my viewers don't appreciate it, I appreciate it so much.
No problem.
I don't want to take up any more of your time. We're going to get in touch after this, for
Caitlin,
sure.
hit me for real, homie. I really am inspired by your interview. Like I said, it's great. The questions that you asked is just very detailed, very thought-provoking, and even had me thinking, too. I wasn't, most of the time I'm not prepared for any and every interview, and this one I really did have to really push the thoughts a further step. And like I told my last live, which was another dope black woman, just keep being dope. Keep being you. Keep pushing the culture forward, man. My wife is my everything. I lean into her perspective. I constantly learn what she is to me and how black women really make the world operate in a dope way. And so just continue to do that to all your followers, all my people on here, but definitely rooting for everybody black. But for all the followers on here, man, much love. Y'all make sure y'all go run up Caitlin's page, run up the 915 WUNC page, and of course follow me if you ain't following me. I'm gonna catch y'all on the flip side.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye.
Thank y'all so much for tuning in. This has been another Changing Channels. I am your host, Caitlin Leggett. Y'all be safe, be blessed, love on y'all people. Y'all don't take nothing else, love on y'all people. And if you missed this, go back and rewatch it, okay? Peace to y'all.